The fire is our grandfather. It serves as a central light, sending forth many blessings and lessons. The campfire is a sacred place to pass on the teachings of our elders. See in the fire the values of our ways and pride. You are an ancestor of the Anishinaabe, the original people. Do honor to your people. Respect all people and the earth. Remember to respect yourself and the knowledge and goodness that comes from your rich heritage. Grow up strong and contribute abundantly to your extended family of brothers and sisters. Pass on that which you determine to be good and truthful. I have seen many changes in my life. As Indian people, we will continue to survive and evolve. It is my hope that you and future generations will continue to pass on our values. This is our way of life.
Getting back in touch with the heartbeat of Mother Earth. This unity has been the way of the Anishinaabe, the original people, for centuries. From their beginnings by the great body of salt water, through their migration west and finally arriving in the land where food grows on water, the people of the Ojibwe band remain true to their values, the connectedness of all living things. For a time, they were the lost tribe. Their children were taken away and taught another culture, and their livelihood was threatened. Their name was even changed. Known to other tribes as the Ojibwe, the Europeans, new settlers, called them the Chippewa. This is the story of the American Indians who settled in the St. Croix River area of Wisconsin. This is the story of the St. Croix Chippewa. Centuries before the Europeans descended on the continent, the Ojibwe were part of one big family, bound by marriage and language. The Algonquins. They lived on the coast near the Atlantic Ocean, but the Great Spirit had other plans.
The prophets foretold of a movement west that we would follow the Mega Shell till we found food that grew on water. So we started migrating from the east coast to our present homeland where we found food that grows on water, which is wild rice.
Several Anishinaabe bands made the journey west, settling at various points along the way. The Ojibwe continued until they eventually came to an area along the southern shore of Lake Superior, where the food grew on water, wild rice or manoomin. The Ojibwe people flourished in their new homeland. Mother Earth provided what they needed. They could fish all year long. Late summer, early fall was the ricing season. In winter, they would move deeper into the woods to hunt, living in smaller groups of 1 or 2 families. They were the first conservationists, taking from the land only what was needed, something the Ojibwe follow to this day. In spring, they would move to sugar camps to gather maple syrup and live in larger villages during the summer months. But all that was about to change. French traders and missionaries arrived in the early 17th century, bringing with them new ideas, fur trading, and tools.
As the Europeans started to trade goods with us, the French, I would imagine that our people picked up on a lot of their style of clothing and gaining a lot of the utensils back then that were making life easier for the Indian, such as the kettles, such as the axes, the owls, and things like that. You know, our people traded a lot with the French back then.
But the French also brought weapons, disease, liquor, and a way of doing things the Ojibwe and other Native Americans were not used to. The Ojibwe became trading partners with the French and the Sioux Indians to the west. They built a large village on Madeline Island at the mouth of Chequamegon Bay, where the French established a trading post at La Pointe. When the French abandoned La Pointe and other western outposts in 1698, the tribes were left on their own. The Ojibwe started looking for new places to trap, hunt, and fish.
And then from Madeline Island, the St. Croix band dispersed from there, coming along this way to continue with the hunting and the gathering of furs and the food resources and things like that.
Various clans dispersed to scattered areas of what is now Wisconsin, but members of the Martin clan settled in an area that is still their home.
When we reached along the St. Croix River, a lot of our people found an abundance of resources, so that's where we decided to make our settlements.
Once again, Mother Earth was good to the Ojibwe, or Chippewa. The fur trading business was growing. There was plenty of food. The Ojibwe were one of the 6 major tribal groups in the area by 1836. That's when a sorrowful series of events began.
I don't think a lot of the treaties have helped us a whole lot. I'm not a pro-treaty person. I've just seen them cause more harm than anything. Too many treaties have been enacted on the tribes without a whole lot of thought. They've promised us things, but we've never gotten them.
Wisconsin became a territory in 1836, but the new settlers knew for years there were rich deposits of valuable copper and iron in the land surrounding Lake Superior. In the Treaty of 1837, the Ojibwe ended up selling 10 million acres of forest land to the U.S. government. In 1842, they sold or ceded the rest, but in both treaties, the tribes kept their rights to hunt, fish, and gather as they wished. To this day, that provision has been upheld by various courts. But the Ojibwe, or Chippewa leaders, thought they had only sold the mineral rights to the government. Much to their sorrowful surprise, they discovered they sold the land as well. And in 1850, President Zachary Taylor signed the Indian Removal Order, forcing the Ojibwe to vacate their homes. It was a deadly trek to Sandy Lake, Minnesota in 1850 that helped change that. An estimated 400 people died on a trip to receive their annual land payments that were late in arriving. The delayed return trip during the winter was brutal. In 1852, an Ojibwe delegation convinced then-President Millard Fillmore to rescind the removal order and establish permanent land bases or reservations for the tribes. That's when the St. Croix Chippewa became the Lost Tribe.
We were known as the Lost Tribe from 1854 to 1934 because the government failed to recognize us at the 1854 treaty. We've done some research that has shown that our chief Yabants, or Little Buck, was a signer of the 1854 treaty, but he signed under the LCO tribe. So he was basically lumped in with the LCO chiefs when he should have remained in his own distinct identity as a St. Croix chief, and that's where we pretty much ceased to exist in the government eyes.
For nearly a century, the St. Croix tribe weren't recognized. They were essentially squatters on their ancestral homeland that now belonged to the U.S. government. It wasn't until 1934 when the federal government finally gave the tribe reservation land and formal recognition as a sovereign nation, the St. Croix Chippewa Indians of Wisconsin. Much of the Ojibwe culture is rooted in the sacred connection to nature. Their clans are named for the animals.
Deer clan, the bear clan, eagle clan, and they're all part of the Anishinaabe way. And we shouldn't abuse those. We should honor them all the time.
Even the plant life is an integral part of Ojibwe tradition, especially tobacco. Something elders say one should carry with them just in case you spot an eagle.
That's why my grandfather always told me, carry tobacco with you. Wherever you see one and stop, and give them tobacco. Because the spirit bird, the eagle, it always flies up and tells the Creator to watch over this person if he gives them tobacco. Because he's the one that can go up that high and just gets out of sight. He's the messenger.
Tobacco is also a sign of respect to elders. Anyone seeking an elder's advice should bring a gift of tobacco.
Well, a lot of people do come to me with tobacco and ask me for help, and I tell them what to do. And if they give me tobacco, I'm a little bit stronger, and I usually smoke that pipe and my pipe, and sometimes the big jumps pipe, and I ask for guidance and help for the people.
The other plant that plays a significant role in Ojibwe culture is monomen, wild rice. Once a main source of sustenance, rice beds are now dying off as the lakes become more developed. But it is still a tradition passed down through generations.
Well, I first went ricing, I was about 8 years old. There was probably about 8 couples, and I was my dad's partner. And we went way over near Sorona on a big lake over there. And it was a gallon of water and a sandwich is what we took for the day, you know. And me and my dad pounded out about 200 pounds of rice that day. One guy's got to push the canoe, and one guy's got to run the knockers. And your racing sticks are called knockers. And basically, you'll reach out and you'll pull the rice in, and you'll hit it. Not too hard that you break off any of the rice stalk, but you know, just enough to shake out the green rice, and it'll fall down in the canoe.
Every fall, the harvest is celebrated with the traditional wild rice powwow.
I like the atmosphere of like being with a bunch of other Native Americans in one setting, just having a good time. And I started with the dance troupe in '98, and I've been dancing ever since.
Powwows are social events. They are also a time to get back in touch with the Ojibwe culture. Each song from the drummers is different. Some are handed down, some are original. Each dance is significant to the singers and the dancers.
There's 6 types. For guys, there's 3, and that's grass, traditional, and fancy. And for girls, there's fancy, jingle, and traditional. The grass dances are a little quicker on their feet, and I'm pretty quick on my feet, and then the traditional are slow, but they have moves, and fancy are beautiful colors, just spinning in circles.
The dancers wear regalia, not costumes. It reflects the dancer's inner dignity and is very personal to them.
This has been passed down 2 generations or 1. I know my dad wore this before me. I've had this since I was probably 10.
Most importantly, the powwows are essential for making sure the St. Croix Chippewa culture lives on.
As we talk, like, most of our culture is being lost right now, and I just want to see the younglings out there start to bring it back. Like I said, we're losing it, and there won't be anything left of the Native American way. if we keep on progressing like this.
There was a time in the early 1900s when tribal members felt their identity would be lost. Young children were virtually kidnapped and taken away to the white man's school. Many of the European settlers felt the way to handle the natives was to make them learn what they call the civilized way of doing things at boarding schools.
They grew up being made to feel ashamed of themselves. They grew up in the boarding school era where they tried to literally beat our race out of us, making us stop our language, making us stop practicing our customs and our traditions. So a lot of the only ones that I know have been able to keep it intact is the ones that were able to escape the boarding school era or keep it so strongly in their heart that they never forgot, even though they went through boarding school.
I was taken away when I was 7 years old. I didn't speak no English. All I spoke was Ojibwa. I was gone 5 years, so. I was in this school. I had to learn English fast, so I didn't talk it. I understood very little bit.
As with any culture, trying to survive in this fast-paced world of instant communication and instant gratification can be challenging. Tribal leaders are hoping to instill Ojibwe values in the young.
Well, I accept it, but it does sadden me that I see a lot of this culture going by the wayside simply because if we don't live it every day, we do lose it. Such as the language, you know, we've lost a lot of the language. In trying to teach the language, you don't see the interest or the participation of the younger people coming in.
I want to learn about more about my culture and the background and history.
One way the tribe teaches the youth about the culture is through the Trails program.
Well, Trails is traditions respecting American Indian lifestyle. And the mission is to teach the kids how to learn more about their traditional ways, like dancing and singing and arts and crafts. And I've been doing it for about 18 years. The parents have grown up and had their own children now. Well, the parents have told them about the Trails program, and they're pretty excited about coming here and learning more about the dancing and being more traditional.
The St. Croix Chippewa have invested much in youth programs, building a new youth center, providing activities that promote learning and unity. They involve the tribe's own Head Start program for youngsters and includes more physical activities for older youth, a boxing club, competition in Olympic-style games, and a summer camp where traditional Ojibwe values are taught along with living healthy lifestyle.
Well, they're our leaders for tomorrow. I mean, they're the ones that are going to carry this on for us once we're gone. You know, we're only here for a short time, you know, and once we're gone, the kids are going to be the ones that are taking it over, so we have to teach the kids.
Today, the St. Croix Chippewa Reservation covers nearly 3,000 acres in the north woods of Wisconsin, but it is spread out over several counties and communities.
Well, we reside in 3 northwestern counties in northwest Wisconsin, and our population is probably about 1,500. And it's kind of deceiving for that low number because we're one of the few tribes that require half or more blood for enrollment purposes.
There are 5 major communities: Sand Lake, Danbury, Round Lake, Maple Plain, and Gaslin. Much of the reservation is the same land their Ojibwe ancestors lived on centuries ago. The Indian Reorganization Act of 1934 did away with tribal chiefs governing their people and established elected tribal councils, although there are still chiefs in name and heritage.
Tribal council is basically our governing body, and the position that I hold is a hereditary position that's been handed down from my grandfathers, my father's 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 father that I know of. So it goes back a long ways.
As recognized by the federal government, the St. Croix tribe is a nation unto itself. It has a constitution, elected officials, and its own tribal court.
We hear a lot of civil court cases. Civil meaning we do a lot of family law, child protection. We do a lot of conservation cases, housing evictions, those kinds of things. All our cases involve St. Croix tribal members. We don't do any cases that involve non-members. So it's everything that applies on the reservation. All the state laws, county laws, tribal laws, whatever there are, and see how they all interface with each other and interact with each other.
The reservation also has its own fully staffed and equipped police department.
Well, we are a relatively new police department. We've been around since about 1999 when the tribal council wanted to really establish their own police agency within the reservation. Since then, we started out with approximately 2 to 3 officers, and now we've grown to 14 full-time police officers. And we also have a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week dispatch center, which also has 5 full-time dispatchers and 2 part-time dispatchers.
The police department and emergency response teams are a source of pride for the St. Croix tribal leaders, especially when they are recognized outside the tribe.
The Wisconsin Sheriff's Association is holding their annual conference in Siren, and the Sheriff of Burnett County, Dean Rowland, requested that our honor guard present colors at the opening ceremony. Very special. Everybody that's going to be up in this area is going to see what this tribal police department has to represent.
The St. Croix Chippewa Nation cannot survive on tradition alone. It must provide for its people. It must invest in the future, and it has done so by owning and operating several business enterprises. They are established as major contributors to the local and state economy, helping not only their own tribe, but Wisconsin as a whole.
There are 3 casinos within the tribe itself. The one in Turtle Lake, we've got Hole in the Wall in Danbury, and Little Turtle Hurdle Express in Hurdle. The one thing that I've been really impressed with this tribe is their willingness to try to diversify. I mean, they saw a long time ago that, gaming has been very good for the tribe, but, there are other options out there too other than gaming. The construction company that the tribe owns has been around for quite a while. Four Winds Market is the full name of the grocery store. It's located right here in Siren, Wisconsin. It was purchased probably about 4 or 5 years ago. It has actually been one of our more successful enterprises that we've purchased. The travel agency is utilized by basically everybody within the tribe itself, and we're trying to venture out into the general public here and get word out that we are not just for the tribe. Emerald Systems is our software development company. What it does is it specializes in justice systems like jailhouse tracking software systems. Southwinds Plaza. This building was put up probably, I think it was about 5 years ago. It was built as a retail space that we have available to anybody in the general community. And that's what most of our businesses here are. We've got a sporting goods store, a thrift store, an Altel outlet center. I think that anything we can do to diversify and make money is going to help all tribal members.
Well, it certainly changed the image of our people. We're no longer, welfare dependent. We're no longer, welfare Indians. We have a destiny and we have a crusade to progress as a society of people that really is, very evident. And the evidence is achieved through, efforts of councils and their dedication to the tribe to be progressive.
That dedication is giving tribal members a sense of pride and hope for the future. No longer a lost tribe, the St. Croix Chippewa have a sense of belonging and a place to grow. A place they can always call home.
I get probably right up by the youth center, and I can feel my heart. It's just overwhelming to look at these buildings here and say, we did this. We were able to do these good things.
This has been my home. It will always be my home.
This is my world. I don't know any other world. This is my life, you know.
Under proper leadership, I think the sky's the limit. I think we're going to have to, train our new leaders. We're going to have to really impress upon them this value of respect and developing for their own people is paramount. With each year that passes, that we have to really assure ourselves that we have the seventh generation to continue to provide for us.